Have you ever really thought about the reason you came to college? Why you were studying what you were studying? If you came to college for the sole purpose of securing a job, like many do, and you are in your major because it seems like the only avenue to do so, I would urge you to consider a different view on the role of education and the one in which I will present. Back in the Middle Ages, when the notion of education for citizens was introduced, the curriculum conceptualized was that of the 7 ancient liberal arts. These 7 subjects, which I will explain, were deemed most important and worth studying for citizens. Subjects span from the humanities to the sciences. In the base or foundation of this system, called the trivium, were the rudimentary or elementary subjects, rhetoric, logic, and grammar. These 3 subjects were an essential foundation. We don't often think of rhetoric and logic as elementary, but they were considered to be such foundation skills and knowledge that they were placed in the trivium. Then, in the quadrivium, there were the more specialized fields: geometry, music, cosmology or astronomy, and arithmetic. These could only be studying after completing the trivium subjects. These 7 subjects were collectively termed liberal to embody the classical idea of a free education. This free education helped cultivate what was deemed the whole person, the ideal citizen. The ideal citizen was well-rounded and possessed a wide range of knowledge. Further, learning was a lifelong journey and not simply a destination like it is perceived to be today. Today, education is viewed very differently. Elementary and high schools are obsessed with meeting the standards imposed upon them by the government via the No Child Left Behind Act. It's not their fault. Students' potential worth is measured by a scantron, and consequently, there is very little learning. Then, in college, degrees are merely objects that represent meeting a different set of standards and societal expectations. To work, no matter what the job is, if you love it or if you hate it, your degree better give you an office. Science, technology, engineering, and math fields, then, are considered the only worthwhile fields of study. Last week, we heard a presentation from Mike about the importance of supporting NASA. I bring his presentation up because we actually agree on a very fundamental level. We agree that exploration is important. Thinking outside the box is what is important, not merely meeting a standard. Well, thinking outside the box is precisely what the contemporary liberal arts education stands for. Any liberal arts major can attest to this. In our classrooms, we are encouraged to challenge the status quo, explore new ideas, and to think deeply. That is the true principle of the liberal arts education. Aside from the fundamental principle of the liberal arts education, there are several other tangible values. With a free education comes variety. In fact, the liberal arts is structured in such a way to require variety. Liberal arts students have exposure to courses that other majors most likely ignore in their study. Similarly, this variety breeds a healthy general education. Gen eds are typically criticized by those studying outside of the liberal arts, that is. But you are required to take General of Arts, General of Humanities, CAS, and English classes for a reason, to cultivate a well-rounded person in you. Liberal arts majors also develop skills that are coveted in the workforce, such as critical thinking skills and communication skills. These are very transferable skills, making job prospects greater than what is commonly perceived of a liberal arts graduate. Beyond these skills, liberal arts graduates are the thinkers, the dreamers, and the doers of society. The liberal arts curriculum is all about critical thinking. Whether it is a philosophy course, a women's studies course, a CAS course, or an English course, you can pretty much guarantee that there will be critical thinking, such as analysis and reasoning and interpretation happening in the classroom. Communication skills are also developed in the liberal arts classroom: oral, written, and nonverbal skills. In this class alone, we had the opportunity to work on oral and written communication skills. Other courses provide the same opportunities to give presentations and speeches and to write papers. So the liberal arts sound really great, and you're probably wondering what the big deal is. Well, not only are people's attitudes undermining the mission of higher education, but so are our policymakers. Governor McCrory of North Carolina and Governor Scott of Florida are both trying to cut the liberal arts from universities because those fields in the liberal arts aren't considered high demand. Like Mike expressed for why NASA should be funded, there is virtue and value in exploration or learning for exploration or learning's sake, be that in space or in cultural studies. Government support is a necessity. Speaking of money, if proposals succeed in Florida, a degree in the liberal arts would actually cost more than a degree in STEM. This is a problem of fairness. If all we have are STEM fields, or a student has to pay more to study outside of the STEM, what happens to those aspiring college students who do want something else? They can't get an education. Funding problems then breed access problems. Access problems create barriers to entering the workforce then at all. Liberal arts majors do have skills that are valuable, and if you discount them because their fields aren't considered high demand, then they don't even have the opportunity to work anymore, and it simply is not fair. Without the majors, there is no possibility of a career and no possibility of the American dream for these people. Success becomes out of reach, and this is a serious problem. Threats to the liberal arts are based on the distorted view of the role of education in our society. In conclusion, not only is this a call to realize the problem with threatening the liberal arts, but it is also a call to think about why you are here. Are you here to be educated or to meet the expectations of society? I challenge you to think about the value of education beyond the standards.